Struggle between Armenia and Azerbaijan over Nagorno-Karabakh has entered its fourth week, and the hostilities show no signs of letting up, with reports of shelling in parts of the disputed region on Wednesday. Not far from the front line, here's our correspondent, Igor Zhdanov.
Right now we're heading to the north, to the northern front line, which is one of the two remaining major hotspots in Nagorno-Karabakh. Our driver's brother is serving there, so he's bringing food and warm clothes.
As we're going, our driver keeps glancing to the right. There's only a couple kilometers between our car and Azeri artillery. The road is being heavily shelled. The homely smell of freshly baked bread filling the car seems out of place as we're approaching the frontline town.
So this is where we had to get out, the city of Martakert. Essentially, they couldn't take us to the front line, and in fact, they didn't go either. Not only because it's too dangerous, but because the commanding officer of that particular platoon didn't want us filming there so that we don't give out the positions. But the city of Martakert, it has no rest. This is just one of hundreds of craters left all around the city.
Just this Tuesday, the Armenian forces managed to repel a 700-strong attack here. Now that the Azeri command knows how staunch the resistance is, they've cranked up the bombardments by an order of magnitude. Levon, our driver, has to unload his cargo here. He knows that there will be no shortage of good Samaritans willing to pass it on to those in the trenches when there's a break in the fighting, of course. Meanwhile, Levon and his friends can do more good collecting a new batch of supplies.
Our friends from Russia send us what we need, or we buy supplies ourselves and bring them to those who need it.
I'm Igor Zhdanov reporting from the northern front line in Nagorno-Karabakh, RT.
Although tensions in Nagorno-Karabakh stretch back more than 3 decades, the fighting escalated in late September. Azerbaijan and Armenia agreed on a humanitarian ceasefire, but since have accused each other of violating it. Although the region is populated predominantly by ethnic Armenians, it is legally part of Azerbaijan. On Wednesday, Azerbaijan claimed it took control of several villages in the war-torn region, and the country's defense ministry published this footage as alleged evidence. We spoke to some Azeri refugees who fled their homes in Nagorno-Karabakh almost 30 years ago, when the conflict first broke out.
I'm overwhelmed with joy. We've been waiting for this for 27 years, and all of a sudden you hear the news of liberation. When we were forced to leave our village, I felt so terrible as I was leaving the grave of my brother behind me. I was crying when visiting his grave for the last time as the enemy was approaching.
By the time of occupation, I had been married for a year and had a young child. We left our village with empty hands. Thanks to the authorities and our soldiers, we'll be back home soon. Let my entire house with all belongings disappear. I just want my land back. I need that land.
We left our hearts and souls in Fuzuli. Our best memories are tied to the city. For these past 27 years, I've been thinking of when and how we would return. I lost almost all my colleagues I worked with there. We were scattered throughout the country. I know the city is liberated, but I can hardly believe it.
First thing I'll do is restore my house. I have so many dreams and desires for when I am back. It is hard to express it in words. I told my kids a lot, but they need to see the place on their own to fully understand my stories. Leaving Fuzuli was the end of the world for me. I was 14. All I remember is bombs being dropped on our heads. I am so happy and grateful to our soldiers that I can make my dream come true. The years of displacement will be in my memory forever. I do not wish that on anybody.